आप सुन रहे रेडियो पाकिस्तान टोरंटो FM 101.3 और जैसा कि हमने आपसे जिक्र किया था कि सिटीजनशिप और इमिग्रेशन के मिनिस्टर जेसन केनी साहब हमारे साथ होंगे। कल बहुत ही स्पेशल प्रोग्राम जो है वो अनाउंस किया गया है फैमिली की रीयूनिफिकेशन के लिए। इसी वाले से हम उनसे बात करेंगे। ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर, थैंक यू वेरी मच एंड वेलकम यू इन रेडियो पाकिस्तान टोरंटो।
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Minister, thanks that you have given us a time on the weekend and a lot of families are planning to celebrate Mother's Day and you and your government planning to bring their mothers, parents and grandparents to Canada in a faster way, in a better way. Can you please tell our listeners silent features of this special program, the Family Reunification Program?
Yes, certainly, Mr. Bhatti. First of all, I'd like to wish Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, and it's a wonderful time to remember the importance of family. Yesterday I announced that we are making progress in speeding up the program for reunification of parents and grandparents. Unfortunately, this program had become massively oversubscribed, and we had an enormous backlog of 170,000 people waiting for 8 years or longer for us just to even look at their application. Mm-hmm. And the problem was getting worse year by year. We were on track for over 250,000 people waiting for 15 years, if you can believe it. Yeah. So we had to make some changes, which I announced yesterday following the 2-year pause on new applications in that program and the increase in the number of parents we're admitting as immigrants. We've managed to cut that backlog in half. This means, as a practical measure, that next year, when we reopen the Parents Program for new applications, the wait times will be just over 3 years as opposed to 8 years, which is big progress. Secondly, as I said, I've announced that we will reopen the program for up to 5,000 applications, which probably represents 10,000 individual people in January of 2014. And I announced that we're taking some steps to also better protect Canadian taxpayers because, unfortunately, we discovered that about 30% of the sponsored parents were going on welfare after 10 years. The 10-year sponsorship period was over, so we're now doubling that to 20 years. Mm-hmm. And because if you want to enjoy the privilege of family sponsorship, you should also undertake the responsibility of caring for your loved ones and not forcing that on taxpayers. Finally, I announced yesterday that we are making the popular new Super Visa a permanent program. This is allowing sponsored parents and grandparents to come to Canada on a 10-year multiple entry temporary visa for stays of up to 2 years at a time. Mm-hmm. We've issued 16,000 of those, so it's proved to be very popular. And overall, what we're trying to do is to reinforce Canada's generosity for immigration, for family reunification, but in a way that is affordable and responsible and protects the interests of Canadian taxpayers.
Right. In one side, it looks very good. As you mentioned, its obligation period is 10 to 20 years, but the dependent's age is decreased to 18 years. And also, I think they have to submit the 3 years thing.
Yes.
So how it will affect the people? Some are very genuine people.
Well, with respect to the age of dependency, in every Canadian law, we consider someone to be an adult when they reach the age of 19. Right. And that's how we're applying the same principle to immigration law now. In the past, you could apply if you were hoping to come as a sponsored parent. You could attach your 21-year-old, 22-year-old child to that, and then wait for 8 years for us to process the application. Meaning that we were admitting children at 28, 9, 30 years of age, which is I think a little ridiculous. My point is very simple. If a child in their 20s wants to come to Canada, they're an adult and they should apply for a study permit or a work permit or immigration on their own. They shouldn't pretend to be a dependent child of their parents when in fact they're an adult. Right. And the other point is I'm trying to create more space in our immigration program for parents, and because that's what really is the key of this program. And for every adult child we're bringing in, we're taking up a space that would be available for someone else's mom or dad. Right. So this is about making choices, and the choice I make is that if you're an adult child, come as a student, come as an immigrant independently, but leave that space for the parents who want to be reunited with their loved ones. On the 3-year rule that you've mentioned, yes, we are going to require that people demonstrate that they have the minimum income to sponsor parents based on 3 consecutive years of their tax assessments, their notice of assessment from the Revenue Agency. And we're doing this because this is a lifetime commitment that people are making. It's not just for 1 year.
1 year, right.
And if you're just 1 year, barely make it over the poverty line, that probably indicates to us that you may not be in a position to properly take care of your parents, which is reflected in the fact that 30% of sponsored parents are regrettably going on welfare after 10 years, and a growing number are living in low-income social housing. So, this is about finding the right balance. We don't want families to be overstretched if they're struggling to get by from year to year. We want families who have consistently strong income. That indicates to us that they can take care of their parents and that they're paying some reasonable amount of taxes to contribute to the health care and other benefits their parents will receive.
Right. Minister, there's something is reality and some is perception. Your government is doing a lot for the backlog of the immigrants, but there is some perception that the Harper government, especially the South Asian community, think they have enforcing tough immigration laws. Is that right? What's your take?
Well, I think that there is some truth to that. We have brought in some tough policies that have been very well received by the South Asian community. For example, it was the South Asian community that brought to my attention the problem of immigration marriage fraud and asked us to bring in a conditional residency rule for newly sponsored spouses to crack down on marriages of convenience and fake immigration marriages. It's people in the South Asian community have no tolerance for foreign criminals who commit serious crimes in Canada, and I think strongly support our efforts to more quickly deport them. I have never met someone in the South Asian community who supports the problem we used to have with large numbers of false refugee claims, which we've now cleaned up in our new system. So I think the things we've done to strengthen the system have been broadly supported in the South Asian community. In terms of overall, we just saw the census report this week, which reinforced that Canada has the largest immigration program in the world, the highest number of foreign-born people in the world, that our government, since coming to office in 2006, the population of Canadians who immigrated here has gone up by 1.5 million, and that 59% of those people were from Asia, and half of them were from South Asia. So, when we're bringing in hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people from South Asia, I think it's kind of hard to say that that's an anti-South Asian immigration policy.
Right. This question is not directly for the parents and the grandparents, but the spouses are comparatively getting more time to come to Canada from Pakistan especially.
Yes.
Is there any possibility of reducing that wait time or doing something on that?
Yes, I know that is a problem, and problem developed for a number of reasons. Starting about 2011, my ministry started having a hard time getting visas from the Pakistani government to send our bureaucrats to our High Commission in Islamabad to process applications. And so we had a shortage of staff in Pakistan processing applications. That helped to lead to this backlog. Secondly, with the security situation being very difficult in Pakistan, it became difficult for us to allow our staff to leave the High Commission to go out and do interviews and due diligence on spousal applications. That slowed things down. And finally, we saw a growing number of applications that were for marriages that were only done in under Sharia law, but not registered with the civil registries in Pakistan. And this became very difficult for us to confirm those marriages. And so we're asking people, as much as possible, please, even if you do a Sharia marriage, make sure that it's registered with the state authorities in Pakistan.
Right.
Now, finally, we've been able to get visas for more staff. We've added staff into Islamabad. We are significantly increasing the number of spousal applications being processed out of Islamabad every month. So the backlog is coming down, and by the end of this year, people will be seeing a very significant change in the wait times for spousal sponsorship applications out of Pakistan. So I sincerely apologize that the problem developed. I'm quite aware of it, and I've been working every month with the department to to solve this problem.
Okay, the last about the super visa. There's a lot of people have in their mind that maybe you're changing something for the super visa, or will be the same features for the super visa, and then will continue?
Yes, yesterday I announced that we're making the super visa a permanent program. We're not changing the rules. It is a very popular alternative to permanent sponsorship of your parents, and it is a 10-year multiple entry visa that allows parents to stay for up to 2 years at a time, as long as they obtain private health insurance, making sure that if they become sick, the Canadian taxpayers are not forced to pay the expenses. We've issued 16,000 with an 86% approval rate, and the processing times are reasonably fast. So I confirmed yesterday that this will be permanent. The super visa will not be affected by the new rules I announced yesterday, which apply to the permanent residency sponsorship process for new applications that we receive beginning of January of next year. So again, same criteria as before for the super visa.
Minister, thank you very much for your time, and we really commend your efforts for reducing the backlog. That's very important. That's why the people are very worried about that. And I hope that this reunification of family plan will work, and a lot of families will reunite it again.
I hope so as well. And thank you for your good questions. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All the best.